you could probably say that you can't control it, but it's some fringes come in to your podcast via
intersectionality.
Comments. He's not listening, mate. Through comments and forums, because they feel that what you're saying is it's okay to spread hate.
You can't do my own song. Yeah, I got a bum hole. So what? Yeah, I got a bum hole. That's hot. And welcome to a very special episode of the 3SP podcast. Today is the 1SP podcast. I am, of course, the mad lad of Jihad, Ayatollah of rock and roller, the Persian nightmare. And today, I'm joined by fabulous comedian extraordinaire. It's Miss Jenny Hart.
Yay! Come on, I don't know I'm doing that, but it feels right.
Yeah, fuck it, wiggity wiggity whack. Welcome to the pod, Jenny. Thank you for sitting down and agreeing. Jenny's a fantastic comedian. We met here. We met before, but we met properly.
I think
here.
we met before, but yeah.
But I didn't know that we met before, so.
And I can't remember.
And I kind of stood around awkwardly when I first met. But you're friends with Leo. You know Leo. You've gigged with Leo. Is that am I using that inappropriate?
No. I think I know him, but I don't know how. Again, maybe it's just through the internet, you know.
Because Leo knows you. Because he's so.
I always like to leave comments on his stuff, and I knew him as a comedian before all that big divide came up.
Good comments or abusive comments. Well, yeah. So Leo knows you anyway, because Leo's like, oh, she's great, right? So we know. But for our listeners who don't know you, you're a brilliant comedian, and I believe you've listened to the pod, right? Yeah. You know who we are. But why don't you tell our listeners who you are, where you're from, and then just so they fill them in that we get all our guests.
I'm Jenny fucking Hart in an Australian accent. I used to live in Woking. Home of Paul Weller, but now home of Prince Andrew's Pizza Hut. Is it Pizza Hut? Pizza Express.
Pizza Express, baby.
Yeah, moved up to Manchester, and I just do comedy all over the Northwest, and I'm ripping it up.
And when did you get into comedy?
I came out in comedy.
You came out?
Came out as a transgender person.
Whoa, Jenny!
Because I thought...
Okay, cut! No, don't really cut. I'm just saying. So Ollie is we're here with Ollie Horn, over text, overcomplicates everything. Don't touch anything, Ollie.
He's asleep.
So, okay, right. I thought we're going to go around it. Okay, you came out in comedy as trans.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that was it. I started comedy as a trans person.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely thought that people would laugh at me less on stage than they would on my local council estate. Does that make sense?
So you're from London?
I'm from Woking, which is below London.
Yeah.
I talk like this. Because I made this voice up. Again, I grew up on the council estate, and it was all boys. Yeah. And I was this sort of feminine little fairy kind of. Yeah. So I made up this accent to fit with the boys, and now I can't get rid of it.
That's kind of like my accent. Mine's a slightly updated version. It's more Ali G than yours is more Cockney.
So people always say to me, where are you from? And I go, I'm from Woking. They go, oh no, where you really from?
Where you from?
Where you really from?
Where you from?
Like hate crime.
So you're from Woking. So you said you came out in comedy as trans.
Yeah. I used it as an idea.
But were you doing comedy before then?
So basically, I used to be a musician. I say musician, use the term lightly.
Because I asked you about that. You got some stories as well.
Well, yeah, lots of different stuff, but I can't get on well in groups. You know, I work for myself, can't work for the man. And it's the same in music. I tried to be in bands, but I couldn't be. And I went solo, and then I started to write funny songs, and they started to pick up. And then I built this... This is a short story, but I'll make it short. A long story, but I'll make it short. So I used to be married, right? Yeah. And my wife at the time wanted an excuse to say, why are there size shoes, women's shoes in the house that are like size 8 or 9? And I said, I'll create this character called Jenny B-Side. I'll take her out because I like comedy, and then we could use it as an excuse. But as I was building her, we divorced, and I was left with this character, and I was like, fuck it, let's just do it. So I went into comedy, walked into London all dressed up in my high heels and my makeup, and then just started to do... I started in drag, but drag comedy, if that makes sense.
Okay. So
is that too much?
No, it's interesting. So your first gig was like how many years ago?
About 7. About 7 years ago.
So you're doing great for the amount of time you've been in. And then your first gig, how did it go?
The first gig, I did a competition at the at the Admiral Duncan, that place that gay place got nail bombed many, many years ago. And it was brilliant. I loved it. All the people there loved it. I came second in this competition, but it was like a drag competition.
Okay.
I wasn't drag, so that I couldn't proceed in the competition, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So then it was you.
I was just there with my guitar
How
playing songs. I wasn't doing comedy.
But you were a trans lady, right?
Yeah.
So how do you feel about drag? Because so I'm going to paraphrase Leo, right?
Go on.
So I'm going to put all the bad shit into Leo's mouth because he's already getting it anyway. But Leo says that drag queens are like trans blackface.
Wow.
If a guy's like dressed up as a drag queen,
Yeah.
and then but he's still a dude. He takes it off and goes home and he's a dude, right?
Yeah.
Whatever he is. How do you feel? Is that kind of what's the word? Culturally appropriating your existence. How do you feel about that?
I don't have any feelings on it,
No,
really. It's
shit.
just drag. To be honest, I don't give a shit about most things. I'm like, as long as you're not not oppressing. I don't even know what oppression means, but as long as you're not fucking pushing me into a corner with it, I'm all right. Drag, fine. It's not hurting anybody.
Do you know what? I think this is why I like you, right? Because at your heart, I think you're a comedian first, right?
Yes,
And I can tell.
I am.
This is what I tell, right? When I meet comedians, I can tell if they're funny or if they're good. Not from what they do on stage, because anyone can kind of be funny on stage if you've practiced and rehearsed and you've got your set, right? But to be really funny is when they're off stage and someone's quipping or making a thing. And I could tell that with you immediately, right? Because you just, I don't know, you took the piss out of me. I can't remember what you said. So that's great. So yeah, okay. So we'll all that. Your first gig was there at the Drag Queen, but when was your first real gig and how did that go?
What do you mean, like ever as like?
As a stand-up, like, because basically, my first gig was good, but then I died for ages.
Right.
So I want to know, did you do well? Did you start off with how? Because you're good now, but there must be a period when you were shit.
God, we were all dog shit, weren't we, at the beginning? Well,
I was really shit.
My problem was I relied on the music. I still kind of rely on the music, but I relied on the music so much that I found it hard to break it down and take it apart. And I did the Stockton Arc, which is a gong show up in the north somewhere.
That's where you live now?
Yeah, by Manchester. It's about an hour away. But it's this huge room of about 400 people, and everyone in there's northern, and they just want to drink, and they just want to fucking shout, off, 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 off. People last 15 seconds, 30, it's just brutal.
Yeah.
And when I went there, I had these 2 songs, and I thought, yeah, I could last for 5 minutes. And by the first half, people were just like, shell shock coming off. And I thought, I've got to do something different.
Yeah.
So I just broke up my songs, took the funny bits out, and then just did some shit in between, and I managed to get through. But then, after that, I realised that's how comedy works, making funny across the board, rather than song, funny word, song. So before that, not brilliant, but to that point, then I went, okay.
And then you got it.
This is comedy.
So then you got, and what were you doing like? So now you're a full-time comedian. That's your job, right?
Yeah.
So like, what were you doing then before you got into comedy? Like,
what's my backup job?
Yeah.
So still have a backup. We all have backup jobs, don't we?
Well, I don't.
Don't you?
I've been fired from every job I've ever had.
I'm an animator.
Oh yeah, you told me.
By trade, yeah.
Okay.
I studied at uni.
And then, so you still do that, but
I still do it on the side, yeah, because it's work for yourself, isn't it?
Fit in. So now you're doing stand up, and you've moved through the things. So your journey into stand up, before that, you did music.
I did music, yeah.
And you were a musician, but you weren't a...
Well, I was a singer, and they made me sort of play the guitar, and I never liked to play it, so I used to turn the volume down and go...
But they didn't notice that you turned the volume down.
Well, it's just rhythm, right?
I don't know how bands
When
work.
the thing is, when you're playing early bands and you're playing like shit venues, it's just a wall of noise. That's all people want.
And is there similarities between the open mic music scene and the open mic comedy
I
scene?
don't think so.
Fucking
Have you fallen asleep again?
No, I just dropped my phone.
No.
What an idiot. So, all right.
No.
No. Okay, but what I did hear, which was interesting, but I actually want to pick up on.
Go on.
Tell me tell me to shut up if it's inappropriate. You mentioned you had a wife.
Yeah.
Can I ask? Like,
Yeah,
actually,
of course you can.
When
Yeah.
when did you transition?
It's difficult. I fully transitioned, like every single day like this, about 2, maybe 3 years ago. I came out in comedy and told people that I knew, close friends, that this is what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously I've always been like it. But
Because you said you were an effeminate kid, and that's why you got this accent.
Yeah, I was a little sort of tipsy-toe boy at the time. And as I was saying to Ollie before this, like dead name, my name was Matt before, and I'm fine with people knowing me as Matt. People still refer to me as Matt. It was a part of my life which I can't give up. And also, right, that person, if it was another person, that person protected me through loads of shit. People like wanting to fight you and throwing shit at you. So Matt stands as like a little grave here, dead to testament. Yeah, I don't want to forget about Matt. Matt was amazing.
Matt made you who you are today.
Well, yeah, it was like I just zipped off the skin and went,
How long did it take you to grow your hair? Ages.
Ever since I came out, so 2.5 years or something, 3 years
So
maybe.
that's good. You're lucky that you've got full head of hair.
Thick.
And it's long and lustrous. We've been comparing hair care tips in. I went swimming yesterday, so I'm not going to take it out. So can I ask you, so 2 years ago, but
3 years ago.
2 or 3 years ago, but you kind of knew you were always kind of effeminate. But
No, I knew I was different. I knew I was different since being young, but you can't put your finger on what it is. You know, there's no information about
none.
I always felt different. I always felt what I had felt, because you don't know at that age what the other thing is. But these parts of your body, you know, the dysphoria, it makes it feel as if it shouldn't be there. That's where it starts, I begin.
So when you were like, but you are. Let me get this straight, so I don't say this incorrectly. You are a lesbian, and you're into women, basically what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, but basically it's termed that way because I'm a woman and I'm with women, so I am a lesbian.
Yeah.
Got some water coming in there.
Thank you.
But it's a strange term, isn't it? Because I don't know. It's just a murky world of information.
But I think what I kind of interested in is like, so when you were growing up, you were effeminate, right?
I was
as a little kid,
always,
And
always into women. Never thought of boys.
So
never have done. Nothing changes when you come out.
So there wasn't like anyone was trying to, oh, maybe you're gay or anything like that. It was like, I'm into women.
I kind of think people thought I was going to be gay, yeah. And then when I came out, everyone definitely thought I was gay, but that's not how it works. You don't come out and just start sucking people's dicks.
What? But you don't? I mean, did it for fuck's sake. One dick too many. I only do it for work.
You're not getting paid enough.
Yeah, I'm not. I get paid in dick, and I like it. So then, but you said you kind of knew since up until 2 or 3 years ago that you've had this thing lingering. You were married. You've had relationship. And
always
then,
with women.
And then what was it that 2-3 years ago that you thought?
We were in lockdown, right? And my brain went, because like you build up to it, you think you're going to do it, then don't do it. You know, social pressures, family pressures, you just don't know what's going to happen. So when I first joined the forum, God, about 15 years ago, all the trans people in there talking, they're like...
Do you know Bertie Jenner?
No.
Okay, just checking. A friend of mine transitioned during lockdown as well.
Oh, okay.
We went to WrestleMania together.
Nice.
Formerly lad, WrestleMania, football. I'm on Instagram, I'm going through it, I'm like, whoa, who's this babe? Bertie, what the fuck, right? So
surprise.
Yeah, surprise. But apparently Bertie, still known as Bertie, hasn't changed his name.
Yeah.
Was quite a big kind of early voice on kind of the trans forums and stuff. So I thought, just checking if you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So 2-3 years ago, sorry, I interrupted.
Oh, no. So, you sort of build up to it. It's kind of like when you give up drinking. You give up for a couple of days, you have a drink. You give up for a couple of weeks, then you give up. On these forums, they said to you, get dressed up and go to the post box at night. That's your thing, to get out of the house. And I remember I did that. And as soon as I walked out of the house, there was someone at the end of the road that I knew.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, I can't do it.
Is this in Woking?
Yeah, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't do it.
And your wife knew about this?
My wife knew, not right at the beginning. I was with my wife for 7 years. We were only married for about 1 year. But I proposed to her, and then the day after I was like, actually, I think she needs to know. It's only honest to let her know what she's getting herself in for, but we'll see how it goes. And she was like, yeah, I'm cool with that. And then we got married 3 years later, and then after about a year, we sort of realised that actually it wasn't going to work. So we just got divorced.
If amicably or?
Well, I don't think divorce is usually
Okay.
amicable.
Let's check. Sometimes it could end as...
No.
None of my relationships have ever ended amicably, but fair enough. But you did the right thing though, because it's could have, otherwise you're living a lie.
And you
end up resenting each other.
Yeah, well, you read online as well. People have like kids and stuff, and they can't come out, and then it gets really murky. And when you want to come out, like who was that bloke that came? Was it Philip Schofield when he came out as gay?
Yeah.
And he'd like been living this whole life not.
What did you think of that? Man, look, but the guy was like, everyone's like, he's a hero. It's like, man, that's the worst of the worst. You've been cheating on your wife for X amount of years with the 16-year-old intern, and it was what a hero, what a fucking, go on, Phil.
No, I don't agree with that.
Things he did to Gordon the Gopher. Where is Roland the Rat? Where's Roland the Rat now?
Isn't it Sean Walsh that says in his stand-up, I got kicked out of television or scorned from television just because I had a sneaky kiss with one of the dancers.
Yeah.
And Philip Schofield sucked dick and he becomes a national hero. He said I should have sucked dick.
Yeah. He's very funny, Sean Walsh.
Oh God, yeah.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
Have you met him?
I've gigged with him a couple of times.
Yeah,
Not met him outside of the gig though.
Oh yeah, well obviously neither have I. I've also gigged with him, and he's a nice, in person, he's a nice guy, very funny. I think he's just had a kid actually.
Right.
So, but yeah, the one she fucking milked that for all she could to make, and the fact that we can't remember her name.
I don't know.
So story is,
yeah,
you've been on the forum and like, okay, so you.
So I came out in lockdown, yeah. And the reason why was because nobody was outside. And you just worry about what people think of you outside. Yeah. So I thought this is the best time to do it, because you have to do it. You have to do it, but to be recognised and to recognise yourself, you can't keep jumping back between, boy, girl, gender. You have to make a decision. Is this the thing that you are? Is this the thing that you want to do? And during lockdown, I thought, I could walk around the streets in whatever I want, and this is the time. Yeah. So I just went, let's do it. And from that day, we started doing it.
And then what is the process then? Like, so okay, so the whole process. So you've made that step one. Yeah. And then to get to where you are now, so.
What's that?
Well, you're a woman now. Like, so we accept you as a woman, but like we're not like.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah. 3 years ago, I was a boy, and I still see people that I gig with that haven't seen me in between, so they still think. No, they question whether this is still Jenny B-side the act, or whether this is me now. So some people still call me Matt, and it's like, and I don't go, oh my God, how dare you call me Matt?
I just slag.
Yeah, exactly. Well, sometimes you make them feel uncomfortable if they've been an arsehole to you in the past.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
It does come with its positives.
But what I mean in it is like if you
I know what you mean.
I mean like
depot and stuff like that.
not even that. I actually kind of want to know what the process is like. Oh, if you want to start that's it. I'm going all in now. Yeah. And I'm a woman, so you need to stop. Like when I was 18, I did steroids, right?
Yeah. Steroids.
And I think in hindsight, it fucked up my endocrine system because I did them too soon. Didn't know what I was doing, and that's why my arms are really long because I think I should have been a bit taller, right? And now my missus is like, you fucking idiot, you could have been a bit taller. I'm 6 foot, but I think I could have been a bit bigger, but
never good enough.
Like, you have to tell a doctor, like, what is the process? Like,
so you have to take HRT hormones.
But how do you say, even before
Oh, okay, right. So
you call up the doctor and say, hey.
No, you don't call up the doctor. You go to you can go on.
In your situation.
So you go to the NHS. Well, I spoke to friends about what to do. So if you want to start transforming yourself.
So you already had friends? I
had a couple of trans friends, who had already, they were at different stages, so they knew. But the thing with trans people is our journeys are different. So you can't give 100% advice. You can only suggest ways forward. And dysphoria.
Different in kind of what ways?
Well, your dysphoria is in different places. Some people have dysphoria about the chest, face, bollocks. Some people have it wherever. So your journey is going to be different. What's most important to you is going to be different. Mine is my tits. So, I've always thought that that's something missing.
Yeah. So you felt that you wanted...
Always, yeah. So that was my number one thing. And if you take HRT, God, I sound like I'm going into my set now.
No,
do
but
you know
it's,
what I mean?
No,
Because I've got comedy about HRT.
No,
Oh,
but
look, it's a
going to
tampon.
but it's interesting because
No, of course,
I
of
want
course.
our listeners to see, this is how it is. I'm sure our listeners fucking feel like they're missing out on tits as well. Don't get...
Well, they can have my old put-ins.
Yeah.
I'll eBay them. So yeah, you go to a gender specialist. There is an NHS one, but it's like a 4 or 5 year wait just to be seen.
And that's too long.
That's just to be seen, to be recognised.
That's just to be seen.
Yeah, so if you go private and you speak to a psychologist, you tell them what's going on.
How much does that cost?
That initial appointment was, I think it was 300 quid. So not super expensive.
It's out of the pot. It is a bit expensive.
Yeah, I could afford it because, as I say, I used to do animation and it used to pay okay. So then you get that, you go to see a specialist, and then they give you advice on how to proceed. Normally...
Sorry. When you go to the psychologist, pay £300, you sit there, it's a one-on-one for like an hour, and they're asking you like...
all sorts of stuff. It's really, really intense. And it's actually up to them to decide whether you can continue medically.
Kind of like a job interview.
It kind of is, yeah, because if she'd have said no, it wouldn't have changed anything in me because I still have these feelings, you know what I mean?
So how did you...
She says no, like, fuck off.
And how did you feel when you were chatting to her, like the conversation?
For me, because I'd felt it all my life, I didn't... Like some people say that you've got to really dress up for her and just really feminine and really prove to her that you're a lady. But that's not what being a lady is it? It's not just a bit of makeup. It's about... I don't even know,
but
though, do you know what I mean?
But that's an interesting thing that you said. It's not just putting the makeup on, because a lot of people are like, oh, you put a makeup on doesn't make you a woman, which is why I was kind of alluding the drag thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's why, like, so I was chatting to... Me and Vince were out the other night, and we were at Connections, and we was chatting to a drag queen.
She was fit. Oh no, I get it.
No,
That's how it starts.
But it was, yeah. Listen, I don't know what Vince's standards even need fit. But he was referring to her as she when it was when we don't know that for 100%. But which is why I was going into like, because it could be a dude when.
Yeah. So drag rule is just a drag rule.
Yeah.
If the drag person is dressed as a man or woman, you refer to them. And then when they're out of drag, you refer to them as they are.
Those are the rules.
So they're just loose rules, but that's how they appear. Okay. Like if you watch Drag Race, which you probably don't.
I don't.
No.
But I don't watch any TV.
Right.
I only watch...
But it's just one of those things. That's where I learnt it. I learned it through that, because I used to say to my mates, I'm like, how do you know whether it's her or him or whatever? And it's like, it's how you present in drag. You just...
But the difference is, that's never appealed to you because you felt, I'm not dressing up, I'm a woman 100%
well,
in
yourself.
When
you grow up, you start dressing, but it's not enough.
No, but now I'm saying to you now, you 100, in your mind, it's like, listen, I can't turn this down, take this off because there's no off switch.
No.
Whereas for then, turn this off, now I'm
like for drag as well. I think a lot of drag is about adoration as well as stage craft kind of thing. Drag's a lot of look at me, love me, I'm a sexy person. But the thing for me of drag, and this is my honest thing, and that's how I know I'm not into men, is some drag queens are absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous, and you fall in love with them. And then they get undressed and go back to being boys, and they're boys. And I'm like, I don't fancy you now.
What do you think then?
I like the light.
What do you think of lady boys? Trans lady? No,
I've never met one.
Thai lady boys.
I've never met one.
They're fit. So you know my...
I would say they're fit, 100%.
But you know my thing is, my whole thing...
What's your thing?
My whole thing, Jenny, is this. Stop it. My whole thing on it is... I don't really judge on anything unless I think the person is fit.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? If I find
Yeah,
that
of
person
course.
fit, it's
That's
regard.
it.
It's
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
it. That's
yeah,
all
yeah.
And then Dave Met Savage got funny jokes. I'm gonna use his jokes. Say like, I might be gay. I don't know. I haven't met the right guy in it yet, and I hope I never do. Right? But it's like if you meet like you know what I mean. So I'm not like you. Like but I'm
You
not
need
into
to
it.
question, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
like you know what I mean. People, you know, but my friend always says, but how do you know? So you either try.
Yeah.
Or like you could fucking now the internet's full of ways to find out whether you're into it or not. Do you know what I mean? Watching no, I'm not into that, mate.
True, fair enough.
10 films later, I'm still not into it. You know, right?
No,
if it's not your team.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
You don't actually need to go and suck a dick.
Fair.
Unless you want to. It's like I keep going on about sucking dicks.
Stop, shut up, Jenny.
And every time I do, your brain goes.
It's just flashbacks. It's just flashbacks. It's not. I'm trying to like ask the questions that I want to ask, but I want to, you know, I think we have a nice, but I want to get to like the interesting things that I'm interested in. Right? So it'd be like, so you've had this meeting, then they put you on HRT.
No, they don't just put you on it. Like you go through this process which is you have to live as a woman for, I think it's 2 years. And the idea of that is that there are a lot of societal pressures. When you go out, you know, I've been beaten up, I've been attacked, I've been spat at, all this, and I'm still here.
Shit.
But...
And what happened? Why did you, what happened like when you got...
They're just, you know, a lot of things could be trans-related, a lot of things could be just unlucky. You know, wrong place, wrong time. And you have to sort of build in and take that in. But I personally think if you're going to strap around the streets, it's not going to be like the Bee Gees singing, you could tell by the way, and like fucking Flowers. It's a hard world out there. So if you've lived within the confines of what a woman is and goes through, you know that shit. And that is, you then know if you want to do it or you don't want to do it. Whereas if you don't go through that, you just go, hey, yeah, tick. And then you're out in the street and it could be bad for you.
So those first 2 years you've had to live as a woman.
Yeah.
And then, like, what are the immediate differences that you feel and you
Blokes
see?
stare at your tits.
Yeah. We love, you know what, this is a fact 100% of the time, but everyone loves tits, so.
I love tits.
Because here's the thing, right? If you put, everyone loves tits. This is the fact. If you put balloons up someone's t-shirt, no matter who they are, man, woman, they will squeeze them. They can't.
They also feel sexy.
Fucking tits are sick. Listen, don't get me started on that. What I want to know though is like, so those 2 years where you're living, like this is what that just involves, like, what does it involve?
Well, it's a weird one because you don't really know if that makes sense, but you just do the thing, you know. You dress as a woman. You ask people to address you as a woman and stuff like that. When you say the word be a woman for 2 years, you don't kind of know if, like, I was just trying to be myself. So she might as well have just said to me,
did that make you
try and be yourself for 2 years rather than hide away with this matte fucking skin.
Yeah. And did that make, and in those 2 years, did you feel like, okay, I feel like more?
I did. I felt myself. That's it. You know, whether I'm trans, he, she, her, it, that. I'm just me.
And then they give you HRT.
If you want it, yeah.
And do you take HRT?
Yeah, it's like a gel, and I rub it into my legs.
This is what I actually want to know. This is what I love, steroids and all this. So I want to know how. This is what I want to know. I want to know the drugs. I want to know the side effects.
And whether the size of my tits. Yeah.
So Bertie's dad, right? It's funny, right? So when Bertie was going through the transition, spoke to their dad, and the dad was like, "I've only got one question for you. It's proper serious. Like everything's serious." So he's come out. That he used to be a tennis player, but his dad was like serious, right? And he goes, "I've got one question. How big are your tits going to be?" And that was that his dad said that to Bertie as a joke. Yeah. I mean, it didn't work now. You didn't laugh, but it is funny. I've ruined everyone else's jokes. Anyway, but what I want to know about HRT is like, so you take, it's a gel.
Yeah. Well, you take it lots of different ways,
so
depending on your age. Yeah, it's a gel in a pump. And I just rub it into my legs.
And how often do you have to take
Every day. Well, twice a day, but I just do it once in the morning.
And then, what's that called? That's a form of estrogen.
It's estrogen, yeah. I can't think of the one I take, but yeah, it's estrogen basically.
And do you have any side effects? Like, so when I did steroids, actually, ironically, I took testosterone. One of the side effects is you grow tits afterwards, right? If you don't come up and do the post-cycle therapy and take the stuff they give to Clomid, they give that to women, right? To not get them pregnant. They give it to women who want to get pregnant, right? So I didn't take Clomid, but I got away with it. So I want to know, do you have any like side effects?
Not at the beginning. At the beginning, like it makes you feel tired because basically what's happening is you got all this estrogen coming in your body and we're taking over. But testosterone is much stronger and it goes, no, you're not. No, you're not. So they just have a massive fight in your body and every morning you're like, guys, girls, just fucking sort yourselves out. And then for me, after about a year, you get checked, all your levels get checked. I had this little, just the last bit of testosterone wouldn't fuck off. It was just dug in the trenches.
Really?
So then you have to have this injection, I think it's called a T blocker.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a huge needle. It's about that big, like about that round. And it's basically they put a capsule in you and then that gets rid of the last of the testosterone and then the estrogen just floods in and everything starts growing and fat transfer and your face changes.
And did you get any mental changes? Because I've read that when you take other people who've trans, if I'm saying inappropriate.
No, I have. No, I have.
Like
No, yeah,
like
you're right. You just seem to know a lot more than
I know.
I'm
listen, I can't. I'm interested.
Yeah.
But I felt like because when when I'm taking testosterone, it makes me angrier, right?
Yeah.
But when you're taking estrogen, does it make you more sympathetic, more like
more girly?
Not even more girly. I wouldn't say that, but more
No.
like doesn't change your feelings. You didn't feel more empathic or anything like that.
No, I've always been a sensitive.
So you didn't feel any different when you took the estrogen, like
No.
like mentally.
Mentally, I felt when things are growing, it's really odd because all the things you've ever wanted are starting to happen, but all the things you've ever lived with are starting to disappear, and it's a real.
You're kind of mourning the death of your old self, in a way.
Well, you are, yeah, in your old physique, because your physique changes, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, if you do a testosterone blocker, I'll be honest, it completely wipes out your sex drive. Like, it goes to zero.
Oh, really?
And it makes it like, I felt like one night I was just asleep and this wind come in and was like, I'll have that.
What?
I took it, I just woke up next day and I was like, oh, mate, where is it?
No,
where the fuck is it gone?
I don't know if that would be a good thing not to have a fucking libido, though.
I tell you,
A libido, because sometimes you're just like, I want to fucking.
This is the thing, like, I kind of get to experience both of those emotions, because like people like blokes will fuck anything, and women don't.
That's not true.
And women don't, but it kind of is. Testosterone is a real sexual force, and without it, it's more, you know. When I'm with my girlfriend, it's much more loving and not just fucking get it over and done with.
It's like Netflix and chill, as opposed to just.
It's probably just Netflix.
Yeah, just the Netflix.
Yeah.
So, that's crazy. So the estrogen, but it didn't make you feel more, like, it didn't change that. And now you've taken it, and you've got this blocker in, that stays there for
it stays in there for 3 months, and you go back, and then they chunk it in.
Is that like when the women get the pregnancy one?
Could be.
So my missus had Implanon, or whatever, and she had it there, and it was that she's gonna get pregnant.
Ah, I see.
So I think it might be the same. Well, it sounds similar.
Yeah, could be.
So.
But it's a big old fucking needle.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well. There you go, maybe.
And when the nurse gives it to you, because it's not a normal needle, it really does hurt, and I have it in my stomach. But it always reminds me, do you know when you see in the films when you see someone kill somebody and then apologise as they're doing it, and they go, sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. When she does it, she says that. She pokes it into my stomach. She goes, this won't hurt. She pokes it in, she goes, hurts. I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And I think, oh my God, I'm dying.
That's crazy. And then, but now, so now then, what are the next, like, going forward, like, what are your next, so you started in lockdown, lived for 2 years, met a
Like 2-3
psychologist,
years, yeah.
been taking this gel cream, and now you're living as a woman, you've got a partner, and then what are then like the next stages?
Entirely up to you. It's you know, now it used to be that I would get like all of this operations done and get it done. But one of the things you kind of realise is if you've got dysphoria, you want rid of something.
Yeah.
But you also realise that if you're with a loving partner, they love you for you, whatever you've got going. So that the idea that I need to do it is much less. Definitely going to get my tits done.
Yeah.
But you know, bottom
But you
surgery,
grow,
as they call it.
but
They grow, yeah.
they grow anyway,
yeah,
right?
growing them, yeah.
But you want the Pamela Anderson.
Well, you grow enough
Yeah.
to extend, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If you've got like a drum skin,
Yeah.
you ain't gonna get a lot in.
Ah.
So if you grow enough tissue, you
Got
have
it.
what you want. But I'm not going like super big or anything.
Well, give me a size, baby.
I'd just be. But you know, they always say go one cup up because you will always regret not. So, but you just, that's good.
And then you mentioned bottom surgery. That is something on the card. Like,
Nah.
isn't that kind of your partner's kind of a choice you have to kind of make with your partner, though?
Well, as I say, if,
No,
you-
no,
if,
I
you're-
don't- I
if, you're-
meant
no,
the
if your
the
partner's
reality of
happy
it.
with you
Yeah.
as a body, as a person,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter unless they're against one.
But that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of, it's like, but you have to factor that into.
Oh God, you should talk about
Yeah.
it. Yeah, you don't just kind of suddenly come home one day and go, hey, check this out, and then
Yeah.
like, I wasn't into that.
No, that's mental.
Got to factor it in. Well, you know, I always talk to my partners from the beginning
Yeah.
about what's going on. Otherwise, it's just a fucking waste of time.
And you've been with this current partner for?
Just over a year. Just over a year. Keep going into Australia.
Okay. Oh yeah. you're
Because
gonna
we're
get married.
here, we're here now.
Okay, we're in Australia. Right. How long have we done?
Get it up, yeah?
35 minutes.
For how long? Is that it? 35 minutes. Producer Ollie Horn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get it up,
If
yeah?
at any point I'm saying anything that I'm inappropriate, I just want to ask the
I
questions.
don't think you are. No, it's
I'm trying to be.
divisive stuff. I don't know.
No, I don't think we've said anything. So like, yeah, I
No.
mean, so you've listened to our podcast, right? So
Yeah.
you've kind of know. I think people think that we have a divisive podcast. I don't know if that's partly because of the name, because we call ourselves Three Speech, which actually just because we were in lockdown and we just thought, oh, wait, there's three of us. That's a way to have a name. But my personal opinion, and I don't drag you into anything divisive, is that I feel that a lot of trans people are being used as like a punching bag, like so. If you
No.
Let me explain myself, and then you could tell me if I'm wrong.
Freeze frame.
Which I might be right. I probably am wrong, but I mean, like, I feel like you're being used as like a political tool because most people,
Oh, God, yeah.
most trans people just want to go about their lives. They don't give a shit. They want to.
Well,
do
we
what
want
they
rights, you know.
Yeah.
That we want rights, but I don't think like, I don't think we're. Well, again, it's a sliding scale, isn't it? You get extreme right, you get extreme left, you get extreme, you get extreme everything, and the extremes is what people will always grab onto. You know, like.
But both sides
Oh,
are using
of course.
these trans rights.
And we're
as
all sort of in the middle,
Yeah, and you'll
wanting rights.
Yeah.
But these two are saying there's too many rights and there's not enough rights.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to be and not be used as a political or even a tool in the media for people to hate us for some reason.
And in your day-to-day life, how do you find, like, so, I guess in comedy stages, everyone must love you. I mean, you're funny.
Well, this is why I come out in comedy, because on the stage, people don't have to. It's weird. People, it's really hard to explain because people don't have to interact with you, if that makes sense, on a personal level, because you're in a crowd, you're presenting to them. I do comedy about me bollocks and, you know, the way I look and the way blokes feel around me, and it's funny. But I'll give you an example. So I did the Comedy Store. There was loads of army guys in. They were like, London Comedy Store. And they were like, yeah, we love you. That's amazing. That's great. And they were drunk. And afterwards they went, why don't you come out of us into town?
Yeah.
So I went, okay. And that was, I used to drink. So I had a few beers and I went into town and I met them. And as soon as I got to the bar, they kind of realised, oh, hold on, there's guys standing with a trans woman. We're not gay, this is all.
Yeah.
And they just blanked me and were
Oh,
really
really?
sort of mean about it.
Yeah, that's nice.
And I just realised at that point that that's the difference. Do you see what I mean? When you're not specifically connected to me, i.e. in comedy, we can just do what the fuck we like. But it's not for everybody, obviously, but some people suddenly go, oh no, I feel a bit gay being around you. And it's just a thing. Or no, not necessarily gay, but just awkward or uncomfortable. You know, we wouldn't be mates outside of the comedy stage.
Do you think? Well, I would be your mate.
No, of course, well, we are, you know.
So you think, so and then they just think that was like, you went out and then they were just like, no, we're not in.
They were really sort of nice. They were doing that thing where they start, look, I can't think much of yours, and that kind of like starts to rise. So I just left, you know, I'm not going to be part of that.
Yeah.
There's just no point. But that's I find the difference. Societal pressures, I say societal pressure, I don't even know what the term means really.
So Bertie said there's trans misogyny. That's what they told me. They said trans misogyny, even in the trans community, there's trans misogyny where there's a sliding scale of this is a trans woman who's like,
I see what you
misogyny.
mean. Like if there was a sliding scale from 0%, you've just stepped on the scene, and to 100%, you are everything's done.
Yeah.
That is not a trans thing. That's a personality thing. There are people, if they were in, I don't know, car racing or whatever, you know, it's your personality. If you just want to fucking belittle people. Yeah. I had some woman on Instagram when I was starting out. So I thought I was gender fluid because there's so much information out there. It's too much. You get confused.
Too much information.
So I thought I was gender fluid because I was going between the two. And I put a picture on Instagram of me as a woman, you know, like with makeup and stuff on and, you know, dress. And I just used the hashtag trans. This woman fucking came at me from out of nowhere, like, as you say, pretty far down the road with it, and went, how dare you use the trans, you're not fucking trans, you know.
So she was a trans woman?
Yeah, and
she was putting down on you?
Yeah, because I was gender fluid, I wasn't trans. She was like, you're not really trans. And what happened was that put me back and made me feel, because I was heading towards the trans umbrella, you know, and coming out, but that put me back. Because I was like, oh shit, am I not? Have I offended this person? But I look back now, she's just a cunt. And this is what I mean, it's not because she was trans, she as a person is a horrible person.
I think that's...
Do you know what I mean? It's like not all men, not all trans, not all, I don't know.
I think that's the main thing, is that sometimes people are just cunts.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are just...
Like cyclists.
They're just
all
cunts.
cyclists are, aren't they?
Yeah, all cyclists are.
No, but do you know what I mean? If you ride a bike or you're in a car, your attitude...
Stephen Grant.
Alan asked me a very, very big question the first time I met him.
Alan Anderson is the promoter who's brought us out together.
He's doing great
Australia.
things. He's doing great things. He's doing great things.
Yeah.
But he wanted to know about me as well. And it, you know, first time I met him, we went out. He's very nice to me. I did his gig. He said I did really well. And he took us out to a restaurant, and we were sitting there, and it was a quiet restaurant. Alan's really loud. Yeah. And he turned around to me and went, so, Jennifer, tell me, what do you think about transgender people in sport? And I was like, fuck, that is a big opener.
That is a big.
And I didn't know what to say, so I just went, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know, because it has its pluses, has its minuses. It's a very grey area. You've got people either side fighting, whereas all we want in the middle is, again, to be accepted. How we're accepted is going to be tough, isn't it?
Okay, so without going on to either side and saying that what is it, then you said...
What do you think of transgender people in sport?
No, I'm not going to ask you about trans women in sport or trans people in sport or anything. What is it then that you think, okay, this is your ideal scenario?
Right.
So he's asked you that and he said, well, we want, what is that? Well, how does
I'm
that
not
look?
in sport, so
no, obviously
I'm not fast, but there's a lot of misinformation out there, which is the problem. There's misinformation in everything, even politics. You know, I wish there was just a web page I could go to that said this is true and this isn't true. You know, and this is the thing.
I mean, let's be honest. Most people don't want to play sport anyway.
No.
Like, who's playing sport after the age of like 25?
Not in fucking Australia.
Yeah, no one's playing sport
unless you're a
anyway.
swimmer.
But yeah, exactly. So I mean, this affects very small
Not all trans people,
But this is what I'm saying. But all trans people now get labelled into this.
Well, I think we should just all sit down as the rule. The people who make the rules should all get together. They might have already done it. I think there's levels.
We're the people who make the rules. We're making rules right now.
We're fucking not.
Yeah, we're not.
Okay, then trans people are allowed to do anything.
I haven't had breakfast and I'm getting drunk, so that's what's actually happening.
He's on his second pint. I'm on the fucking coffee, mate.
Yeah. Well, you don't drink anymore.
No, because I'm a cunt when I drink.
Are you? Well, I'm actually a good drunk.
I'm a bad comedian drunk.
Oh, actually, before I forget, this episode is proudly presented by High Point Care for all your CBD needs. Hey, do you have trouble falling asleep at night? Why not do some CBD from High Point Care? We've done it. It's great. Get the drinks. Use our code 3SP. You will get 20% off. We'll get loads of money. It'll be great. Sorry, I have forgot to do that at the start.
That's all right. I wasn't offered any, by the way.
Well, with that, you know what? They gave us shitloads. So, Jenny, you're definitely going to come on the podcast when we're in London in the studio.
Yeah, cool, yeah.
They gave us loads of stuff, but I didn't want to bring it because I travelled via Abu Dhabi and I didn't want to get stopped.
I came through Doha.
Yeah. Oh, how was that?
I'll tell you a funny thing, right? I wanted to look as less trans as I humanly could.
Yeah.
Just in case I got stopped and put in a cell.
Oh, really?
Just because it's in your mind, that's all.
But you know, Larry Dean got stopped, right?
Did he?
Larry Dean
For
got
looking so pale that he was
stopped.
carrying drugs.
He got stopped because he had, he won't listen to this podcast, but apparently he got stopped. He had like prep on him.
Oh, right.
And he had a big ordeal and he was stopped, put in a cell overnight.
Wow.
How do you feel about male attention?
In what way?
Well,
there's two different.
So let me tell you, as a guy, if a woman comes onto me or even like, you know what, I think this is for men, right? It's me speaking personal thing. I like that, right? I like it. Like I think men like it. Like, oh, he's a bit fluff. Women like that. But guys, we like that, right? So how do you feel like if some sleazy guy comes onto you in a club, like, hey baby, how you do? Where you been on my life?
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No, because I think
maybe it is sleazy.
Again, it's about the ramifications of what that pertains to, if that makes sense. Sleazy guy comes onto you, clearly wants
He might not be sleazy, he's just coming onto you.
Guy comes onto you, maybe drunk.
Yeah.
Your brain says he just wants to bang me in the alley.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. Whereas if a woman comes onto you, all right, she might want to bang you in the alley. I'm not saying women don't want to do that, but it would probably be a little bit more tender.
But my...
So that's where my brain goes. I've also got like ADHD diagnosed. So
I got ADHD.
Have you?
Well, so this podcast must be I'm on Alvance, right?
Right.
So do you know what it is? I got diagnosed, got Alvance, told everyone's messaging me, how do I get a diagnosis? I think I sent that doctor the most commission he's ever had. So many people.
Dave Twentyman I got from him.
Oh, really? So we're both on.
But my mind races, So if someone comes on to me, my mind races all the way up to marriage, I think, within about 30 seconds.
So you don't find that like...
Not from guys, no. And I think as well, that's because of past experiences where, you know, when you say no, they get angry. Not all men, but they get angry or fucking hell, waste my time, you fucking gay lord or whatever. It's like, my experiences of men are different to women coming on to me. And it's the same with, now we're going to do the toilet thing. When I use the men's toilets or when I was in between, guys used to get angry that I was in their toilet, or they used to get confused and then they'd get angry because they were confused, stuff like that. I've never had a problem in a woman's toilet because, well, I'm not doing anything in there that's wrong. And I'm, all women do.
What?
You know what I mean? But it's like, I remember when I was starting in comedy and I started to use the women's toilets or the gender, what do you call them, gender neutral toilets. And I'd be doing my makeup and we'd just chat. Whereas, you know, I'd use men's toilets and blokes would walk in and go, oh my God, what's this? And I go, no, this is the men's. And they go, what are you doing in there? And it's like, oh,
but see that point you made, that's really interesting because...
And it's just experience.
No, but
I don't demand.
But this is a really interesting point because, like, everyone's like, oh, you use the men's toilets. But actually...
It's difficult.
But the actual reason, which actually, you want to fucking do your makeup and stuff, you can't do that in the.
Well, it's just really awkward.
Yeah,
you
of
know,
course.
when you sit in a urinal, it's very difficult.
No, but not even that. But
it
like,
is.
but like, yeah, it's like that makes.
Sometimes it's not just for that. It's time you want a bit of respite. And it's just, I don't know. We get moving into safe spaces, which is obviously a difficult one as well.
I don't know, but yeah.
Your brain's going, ask.
No, it's not. I don't want
to
to put you in a uncomfortable position. Do you want to talk about? But it's interesting to me because when I'm thinking of that question, should trans people be allowed to use the toilet of their sex? For me, I'm not a woman, so it's not my. I don't really mind. I don't care, right? And I think I think the whole polemical part of it comes if I were to say, oh, I'm a woman, I'm going to use it now, or I'm taking advantage of stuff. But actually, the thing is, it's like, man, most people, you know, like, when you said, I want to do my makeup, you can't do you can't do your makeup in the men's toilet.
No.
You just can't.
No.
You just can't. It would be like, people would come in and be like, no, what's going on? You can't.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
Every now and then I put eyeliner on, and you can't.
Do you?
When once upon a time, Jenny, once upon a time.
I wondered why he was so good looking
Once
today.
upon a time, I was fucking cool, Jenny, and I'd put eyeliner on. But I can't stand in the mirror and put eyeliner on. It looks fucking weird, right? Fucking, I'll get beaten up.
So you're.
I got beaten up for being gay, right? My nose broke.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Some guy at a house party, he came up to me and, are you gay? And I was like, it was weird. This is the most demeaning thing that's probably ever happened. I went to a house party with Leo.
Yeah.
This is years ago, right? He had meeting some girl there. There was one other fit girl, and it was a Star Wars house party, right?
Right.
So all these nerds dressed as Star Wars, right? And there was only one other fit girl. Leo was the other one. She came up to me. I was like, I was like, I'm leaving. It's shit. I was like, my phone was on 2%. I was like, does anyone have a charger? It's like fit girl came out of the mist and I have a phone charger. Right?
Hello.
And she took me to her bedroom, right? Nothing happened, but I plugged in my phone, we were chatting. Then afterwards, this guy came up to me and he was like, yeah, you gay? I was like, what? He goes, yeah, you're gay, aren't you? I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, you okay. And he just punched me right in the face and he broke my nose. So he thought I was gay, and then he just went onto me. But I went to the police, and I was, because I'm a grass, and I was like, pussy hole. And I went to the police, and I said, yeah, but this was a homophobic attack. And they were like, yeah, but you're not gay. I'm like, yeah, but he didn't fucking know that.
Yeah,
but you're not gay. So, well, how do you know if I've sucked a dick or not? What difference does that make?
Yeah, true.
So, I mean, the whole point is I can see that there's, like, even me if I put on eyeliner, how difficult it would be.
Yeah, there's a lot of, you know, we see on the television, in the media, just the sort of the fringes of what goes on. Outside, there's some horrible fucking people out there. It's dangerous. It's dangerous for women, it's dangerous for trans people, it's also dangerous for men, as you say. It's like, if you give off the wrong vibe to an arsehole, he will just fucking punch you.
Effeminate men like myself.
I was punched in McDonald's, you know, other shit burger places are available. I was just standing there, and this bloke just walked up to me, went, you staring at my cousin? I was like, I don't even know who your cousin is. And before I could even get the sentence out, I was up in the air. He fucking uppercutted me. I was just on the fucking floor like, what is happening?
And what happened then?
Nothing. Nothing happened.
Did anyone do anything?
No, because it was in my hometown of Woking, I think maybe he was a bit of a lad and no one wanted to do anything, but it happens all the time. People don't see that. And here's the thing, like you said earlier, like what people think of your podcast.
Yeah.
I like what goes on in it, because it's just.
What do you think of our podcast?
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. I have two views on it, right?
Tell us. We want to hear.
I like what you do because it's funny. I like that you sit there and you have a laugh and you do go right up to the edge and you do question things. And we should have two sides. But there's also, I think, a darker side. Not saying like it happens all the time.
Listen, say it, because I personally want to know, because I want to be, and I think all of us, I'll speak for our podcast, we want to be like, we hope we're inclusive, we're actually welcoming, we're friendly, never make anyone feel uncomfortable. We try our best. There's some things where we say, oh, we think this is a bit wrong. Personally, I take a stand back and I think, okay, this is happening because there's outside factors and people are being used as pawns to push the message. But that's where I say. But you give me.
I think it's more, and you could probably say that you can't control it, but it's some fringes come in to your podcast via
intersectionality.
Comments. He's not listening, mate. Through comments and forums, because they feel that what you're saying is it's okay to spread hate. I'm not saying you do, but like I saw in the comments once, and this is another thing, because you're this side a bit, if I came into your comment section, but if I came into your comment section and said, hey, this is a little bit wrong, everyone would pile on me and go, fuck off, you gay person, or you deserve to die.
What was the comment?
That's the bit. I can't remember, but any time that there is something which I don't think you're divisive. I think people use you as like, look, see, these people are saying this, so this means this, and that's not what you're saying. Do you know what I mean? So I think sometimes it can get murky on the outside of what you're doing, and with no control out of it. I never comment on your posts. I watch, but I never comment because I think like I'm just a big beacon to say, oh no, there's one of them, get in.
But you know, Leo, you know, he went out with a trans lady.
Yeah, I don't find that it's transphobic. I find that obviously you're trying to grab situations and issues which seem a little bit, what the fuck is going on here? It's a bit.
Well, I think what we do is we're just following what's in the news, and I think actually this is what I'm saying. Like, I do genuinely believe the whole trans issue, all this stuff is used as a tool to divide people.
But everything is, isn't it, in the media?
But it's really being pushed.
Because at the moment it's like a hot topic. It's easy to do. It drives people apart. You know, that's what sells newspapers, isn't it? That's what gets people talking. It used to be obviously gay people, and then black people, and then now it's our turn.
It's your turn. Right, Ollie is doing this.
Oh, okay, we're out of battery.
We're running out of time. But I think this has been I've enjoyed this podcast.
Yeah.
Have you enjoyed the podcast?
I have. You've had 2 pints.
I've had 2 pints. I offered you a pint.
No, I don't drink. I know what you mean, though.
Well, I'll give you a line later on. Listen, Jenny, thank you so much for doing this podcast. I hope we've kind of illuminated a little bit. There's humans behind the whole issue.
Yeah, I'm not trying to push anything. I just want to be me.
No, listen,
and people be themselves.
In my opinion, the biggest compliment I can say is, before anything, you're a comedian. Like, Jenny is super funny. I would tell you if the comedians are shit, right? Jenny's very,
Follow me online.
Funny. Jenny's very, very funny, and comedian first, but not just funny online, funny off stage, which is where it counts. But quickly, tell them where they can come and see you, or where they can find you.
Oh gosh, yeah, just look me up online, Jenny Hart Comedy, H-A-R-T. HRT. Yeah, dear, Jenny Hart Comedy, Instagram, Facebook.
Instagram, Facebook. Is that our time, Ollie?
Chin.
All right. Oh, and like and subscribe, sign up to the Patreon, and use the code 3SP at highpoint.care for all your CBD needs, where you will get deep heat CBD, CBD gummies, CBD drinks, anything you want, you got it. Doesn't cure cancer. We're not allowed to say that, but it does cure cancer.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, baby. Thank you. Bye.